Hello everyone, TheSenpaiCode here. So today we're going to be getting into doing the gems, doing the pickups for the gems, how to like collect them, how to give them value. So if you want one gem or one gold to be worth 1, and then you want the next bigger piece or a different color to be a different amount, like 2, and then you want another one to be worth 5, and how to add that up. And then maybe how to do a GUI so that it will pop up in the top corner here. We're going to be doing that today, as well as doing a player or character script. I already started working on them here, but I just actually want to go into the camera script here first before we begin. This private int lerp rate, I put it there, but I didn't actually give it, I didn't actually call upon it, so we actually don't need that at all. So I'm just going to actually delete that and save. So I just wanted to show you guys that I put it in there thinking that I was going to use it. We don't need it, so I'm just going to get rid of it. And I'll actually just clean that script up a bit. I'm actually going to just tidy that right there, just because I'm a bit OCD, I guess you can say. So yeah, that's I just wanted to show you guys that. So last episode we did the gems, we made them in 3D Studio Max, as well as brought them into Unity and ended up animating them, adding the reflective and adding the sparkles to it. So this episode I'm actually going to show you guys how to actually make a little GUI, as well as add a certain amount of collective points per gem, as well as make them disappear, add a sound effect. So something like this. So these blue ones will be worth 5. So if you watch up here at the corner, it'll make a little sound effect, it'll disappear, and it'll add 5 to it. So when I go and I collect these, they'll add 5, they'll do the sound effects. And then same, these red ones will be worth 1 point. So if I go over it, it'll add 1 point. And then if I go over this, it'll be worth 2. So that's what we're going to be doing this episode. So I actually went ahead and tried to figure out what way I want to actually do this. So I went and made a whole bunch of scripts and everything. So we're going to go over from scratch here. I'm actually going to just drag and drop one of these prefabs. So let's choose the blue one, because that's one of the ones that we were working with last time. So I'm just going to drag and drop this prefab in here, and I'm just going to lower it to the ground. Alright, so this is what you guys should have right here, is just a normal gem like we finished with last episode. So you're going to be able to walk through it. There's no collision, there's no trigger or anything like these ones here. So let's go ahead. And first thing we're going to have to actually do is we're actually going to have to name. So this would have been the third person controller. So what you guys actually want to do, it should have been something like this up at the name. Just go here first and change this to player. Or you can change it to main character, you can change it to character, whatever you want. But just for the sake, I'm going to change it to player. I'm also going to change this tag from untag to player. So that should be all that we're going to need to do with the person here for now until we add the scripts. So for the gem, what we're going to have to do is, which gem is this? 1 second here. I think it's number 3. Yeah. So for the gem, what we're going to have to actually do is go in and add a physical box collider. So I'm going to add that. So this will actually be the trigger that we're actually going to hit. So as you can see, oops, from the gem here, now we have the box. If I actually take this game down here and I actually turn off maximize on play and I hit play, you can see that the box collider spins with it. So everything's still working how it actually should be working. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that it is a trigger, so we're just going to check that off right there. And that will be all that we'll need to actually do for now until we get the gems. So we're actually going to need a sound also, so when we actually hit this. So what I like to actually do is there's actually a website, BFXR. It's for this bit sound creator where you can actually change and make like laser sounds, jump sounds, coins, and different buttons and stuff like that. And I'll just open up this program right here for you so you can actually see what it actually looks like. So let me open up. You'll get a folder like this, and I'm just going to actually open up this folder here, and you'll get a program like this. Now this is a free program if you want to use this. For now, those sounds that you just heard are just filler sounds. I want to change them later on when I actually change a couple other things. But you can do coin pickup. Every time you click on it, you're going to get different sound, and it actually saves the sound. So if you actually like the previous one, you can actually click on that. And they have different things. You can actually, if you pick a coin sound and you kind of like that, but you want to randomize it, it can actually randomize the sound there. So once you find the sound that you want, all you do is you just export it. You can also save it so that if you want to, you can actually go back to the same settings that it was saved at, and then you can actually mess with it too. Or if you want to actually adjust it before, you can. So just save it. I already saved that sound to my download folder. So I'm going to jump back in Unity here. So now that we're back in Unity, just create a folder. Let me just close that. Actually, we actually have that folder audio from the previous episode. So just drag and drop that in, which I already just went ahead and did. So it's dragged and dropped in. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the gem, which is right here. We're going to hit add component. We're going to go to audio, and we're going to go to audio source. We're going to add this. Now we're going to click off play on the wake because we don't want all the gems to actually just play on the wake, right? You can either drag and drop this in here, or you can just right click and then select it on the circle here. I mean left click and select it on the circle. So now that we have our audio source in, let's get into the scripts. So we'll go into our script folder, and then we're going to right click and we're going to create a C# script right up the top here. Now I went ahead and I created a few different ones. Since we're doing the blue one, just create a blue. If you're doing a coin, name it a coin. So let's go ahead and open up the script here to see what's in it. So what we can actually do is once you have that script created, make sure you have the gem selected, and just drag and drop that on to the so then open up. It should be blank, so you shouldn't have anything. You shouldn't have all of these. It should just be blank. Okay, so let's go over what this blue gem script details. So it's really simple. As you can see, there's not much here. We also have a character script that we will actually be going off of this one with also. So when you, if you have a coin, just make sure that your public class up here, change the name to coin, so you're not calling on a script that doesn't exist. So I don't have any public or private variables there. I just go straight down and I actually start with a private void on trigger enter collider other. So what that is implementing is when we hit that collider that we have as a trigger, it will activate what we are trying to do. So when the character, so if other dot name equals player, so that's the player, and that's why we actually named him player, and also why I put the tag as player, so that when we actually get into the more detailed script, we can actually start using the tag. I do actually want to do a game manager and then actually start calling off of that, because we will have to get into a whole bunch of other stuff later on. So I just made this as a placeholder basically, and I'll update it as we go along. So continue on, other dot get component character. So that's going to be calling on the character script, which we will create here in a second. I'll show you guys how to create. And then it's going to be dot gems plus 5. So plus equals 5. So the blue gem is equal 5. So if you wanted a coin or something to be 1, then you'll just change this to 1. Or you can go plus plus 1. But since I'm doing it this way, it's plus equal 5. And then if I do the red, it'll be plus equal 1. So if I go here, right there, 1, and then the green is 2. So carrying on. So we do have the audio source. So this is what we'll be calling the audio source that we put on there. So the audio source. So audio source equals get component audio source play. So that will actually be playing this source that we just attached on whenever it is triggered. There was a couple things. So destroy game object. We want to actually destroy the game object so that when they go over it, they won't be able to go over it again. It'll disappear and it will be just added onto the number there. So to do that, we actually had to add a 1 second delay in destroying it, or else the audio source won't play. You can actually do 0.05 or something, but then it may cut it off. So I do actually want to add an animation when we go over to like in Spiral, for like the fairy would hit it and it will jump up and then it would go to the dragon to the character, I believe is how it was. So I want to actually do that. So we'll actually later on add the animation. We'll call on to that animation, and then we actually won't need these two components right here, which is the game object get component render, and then enable it false, and then the game object get component collider and enable that false also. The reason I did that is because we added the delay. So when we added the delay to the for the sound, the render would be still slow. So actually, if I just dial that out like that and dial this out also, I'll just show you guys what that actually would look like here. Hopefully I can get that going. So if I go over it, it did that sound and it waited a bit and it disappeared. And so that's why I added these lines for now. Actually, yeah, right up there. So that's why I added those for now. But once we get into the animation, it calls on the animation, then it will actually play through the audio source and it'll do that, and we'll just time it to the animation, so then we can get rid of those lines. But basically that's what these scripts are. They're all the same. There's different variables. So that's that. So let's get into the character script. I guess I actually could have just left that open because it would have been up top here. So the character script. So this is what's going to be holding for now until I get the game manager, the GUI up top, and how much gems you're actually going to have. So I did name it character. So what I have here is a public int, and then I called it gems for the gems. And then it's going to start off at 0. So I had to make two private GUI styles. So I made my own GUI style is what this is. Private GUI style, GUI style. So these are the names because I have to name it something, and then a text color because I actually wanted to change colors. If you don't have the text color, then it will actually remain black since I created my own. Equals new style, GUI style. And then we go down and then we have the private void on GUI. So this is the GUI here. So the size, the GUI.font size is 30. If you add it up to 50, it will actually change the size of the GUI. And then the color here, if you want a different color, if you want red, you'll just change this to red or whatever other color. And if you, it would be no capitals, and it will just show up down here, whatever color it is. I'm going to leave it to yellow for now. So then GUI.content color equals GUI.yellow. And that's calling onto the system. So we have up here, we have the text color. So this is going to be the text color here, normal.text color. So this is going to be the text color. GUI style, this is calling our own style, and that's right here. So it goes into the GUI label, which is going to be the number up here. This is the position of the label, so the new rec position 100, so that's going to be 100 over, and then the 50 should be 50 down, sorry, and then 00 because I'm just using the font size here instead of here, so I zeroed those out. So if you want, right here, if you're using coins or something, or if you want, you can actually put score or coin or points or whatever it is, and then you can do your dash, and then always leave a space. If you don't leave a space, then it's going to write it right up against the side here. So if I actually show you guys here and I hit play, now it had added score. I don't want a score, but maybe you guys do, so I'm just leaving that blank. And what we can actually do later, and what I actually want to do later, is add an image of the gems, or a gem, or maybe a chest or something like that up at the top. So we'll get into adding images later on. So what this is if we continue on, the 0 number, it's going to plus the gems, which is going to be up here. So it's going to plus it on to add on to whatever we collect. So if we collect the blue gem, it will add the gems. It will add 5 onto it. And then it's calling our GUI style. Now, if we did the regular way without the GUI style here, for our own, so if I had crossed these out, then it would be smaller numbers. And then even if we add this up to 100, it's still just going to be a small little smidge. We're not going to be able to see it. And that's why I created my own GUI style, so that we can get it actually way bigger, as big as we want it, basically. Or otherwise, we're just going to be limited to a certain size. And that's all that there is to these. So what we're going to do is save changes. What did I do? No. So we have the gem script that we attached on. So that was the character. So whatever you made, so you would have created that C# character script. And you're just going to go to the player, drag, and drop that on, and it's going to look something like this with the gem. We can actually make this private. We might actually, I'll do that later on, because I actually do want this private. I don't want it public. But now that we have it added on and added our character on, when we play it and we run over it, it disappears. Now the what was it? The particle effect took a little time to disappear. We could actually add something on that later on. Okay, so that's what it was. It was the score that didn't save. So I'll just save that really quick. But yeah, so that's all for this episode. That's how easy it is to collect objects added on. So when we do the game manager script, we'll actually do everything on there, make an inventory, collect it, and we'll have to make it so that we can actually, when we go on to the next level, it will actually save everything and actually load everything onto the next level, so that we can carry everything through, all the data through for the character, his items. So let's get into maybe collision with spikes or something. We'll create some spikes. It's a cylinder with a point on it, and we'll create little boxes that will come through, or turtles or spheres or something, and we'll create the death, the respawn. We'll have to create a respawn scene, which will, or scene where it'll just change or go black, or we'll add an image or something on where it'll be like game over. Do you want to start from the save point or something like that? And we'll have to create a save point also. So that save point will also call on what did he have when he got to that, so how many gems and everything. So last episode we actually created a prefab folder, so we can actually save these with the scripts and everything attached onto it. All you need to actually do is just drag and drop the model here into the prefab folder, and you'll have everything saved on. So next time what you can do, I'm just actually going to delete these, is you can actually just drag and drop this onto the, oh, it's on the game scene. Let's go to the, just drag and drop it onto the level. And then you might have to move it down a little bit. And as you see, everything's loaded on. You got your box collider of the trigger, you got the scripts, and then that way you don't have to go and reapply it every time to the model and stuff. You'll have it already, game ready. And then what you can actually do is, if you want more, you just duplicate it and then move it to wherever you want. And you can also use your hotkey. We'll get into the hitboxes here next. We already got the triggers, so we'll make something happen with that. So I'll see you guys next episode.
Fire burns as the feelings start. I put a wall around my heart, but you're breaking it down.